Biden, exit polls coming out of Super Tuesday in South Carolina showed this. Biden is seen as the strongest candidate to beat President Trump. He's seen as the more familiar candidate. Voters are more familiar with him because he's the former vice president of the United States. He was in the Senate for so long. So he is very much a familiar face. Voters know what they're going to get with him.
We know now more than ever, our adversaries from China to Russia are building in strength and determination to undermine our democracy. Our divisions as a country is our weakness. We need the candidate that can best unify all of us, and that is Joe Biden.
However, when it comes to a candidate like Bernie Sanders, he's kind of seen as a breath of fresh air, maybe new energy into the race, much more progressive, proposing policies, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but are just simply more radical than what Biden is proposing. Medicare for all versus how Biden wants to build upon Obamacare. So I think Sanders worries a lot of more moderate establishment Democrats because they fear that having someone like him at the top of the ticket is going to negatively impact Democrats who are facing very contentious House or Senate races. You know, Democrats like Congressman Joe Cunningham in South Carolina, who has said, look, this idea of democratic socialism won't play well with my constituents. So there's that fear with Sanders there. However, he has really emboldened a wing of the party, a wing that is very anti-establishment, a wing that wants to push through more liberal reforms to really rise up.
We need to ignite passion that is equal in intensity to the passion of this Trump juggernaut and phenomenon. And Bernie does ignite passion. I'm sorry, you know, Biden, I like Joe. He's a good man. He does not ignite this kind of passion.
Well, I think there's a couple ways to look at what people mean or how they're interpreting a candidate that supports the policies that they believe in. Obviously, one can look at these numbers and see that there's proof that there's not a lot of political unity in this country, both within the Democratic Party right now, with two presumptive frontrunners at this point, but also just generally speaking. But I want to take a look at that 66% number about candidates supporting policies that they believe in. What Ipsos polling shows is that actually specific policies are still secondary to the so-called electability factor. What our research shows is that actually the number one thing, at least on the Democratic side, that folks are looking for when deciding who to cast their vote for in November is who is going to beat President Trump. Point blank. That is the number one factor here, and whether that means electability, and I could use that in air quotes because that means a lot of different things for different people, but basically somebody that's going to win and defeat the president in November, that even usurps a specific policy. So if you're looking for a candidate who agrees on the same policies as you, I think that's certainly important, and that's what this polling shows. But it's important to frame these numbers, especially on the Democratic side, through the lens of electability and whether the candidate is going to be able to defeat President Trump in November, to then be able to push their policy agenda that aligns with what they believe in.